At this time, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Maricopa County Community College Governing Board for February 25, 2020. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. With that, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Lauren Autry, who's the Student Ambassador at Estrella Mountain Community College.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Autry. Yes, Ms. Autry. We have one substitution tonight. Dr. Heather Weber is sitting in for Dr. Ray Rivera. Welcome. And with that, I'd like to call the meeting again to order with item student life reports. I am catching up to this, and we will have one presented by Estrella Mountain Community College, and we're looking forward to this.
Good evening, President Thor, members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, CEC, and distinguished guests. My name is Lauren Autry, and I am the Student Senator for Estrella Mountain Community College, as well as the Student Ambassador with the Office of Student Life and Leadership. With me today is fellow Ambassador, President of Communications Club, and PTK member, Rorvis Gilmore. We're here to give you a campus update on EMCC, as well as share the resources available at the Office of Student Life and Leadership. Student Life and Leadership. The Office of Student Life and Leadership provides the environment which fosters the social, academic, and professional growth for the students, and as well as the student development. Student Life and Leadership is housed in the EMCC Student Union, and we serve over 800 students, faculty, staff, and community members on a weekly basis. We have a variety of services available at the Student Union, including campus tours, the student clothing boutique called the Lions Exchange, where students can come and visit the boutique 2 times a month and receive up to 4 free items of clothing each visit. This is a great resource for students to use if they have a class presentation or a job interview coming up. They can come to the Lions Exchange and receive free professional clothing for these occasions. The Lions Exchange also offers a variety of personal hygiene items which are available for students to take for free. This resource averages about 400 visits per school year, including one by Rorvis, who's wearing a shirt from the Lions Exchange right now. We also have the discounted bus program, childcare assistance, we help with student retention, the student food pantry, where students in need can come and visit us and get 2 free items of food up to 2 visits a week, with over 2,000 students using that resource per school year, as well as leadership development. We have a variety of clubs and orgs on campus with over 20 active clubs and organizations. Student clubs and orgs have sponsored many campus-based programs and community service-based events this academic year. We are fortunate to have clubs and orgs on campus who are so active within our community and host a variety of events for our students. You'll notice Make a Difference Day, sponsored by Phi Theta Kappa, where students from EMCC went into the Avondale community and helped paint houses, pull weeds, and do yard work for local veterans and elderly members of the community. You'll also notice the Tie Drive, sponsored by the Men's Empowerment Network, where they're accepting donations of slightly used and brand new ties for any student who requires a tie for a formal event, job interview, or class presentation, as well as Holiday Helping Hands, hosted by the Future Teachers Club, where they collected food, clothing, and grocery store gift cards for over 125 families in need during the holiday season. As well as clubs and orgs events, here's just a few of the many events put on by EMCC, as well as the Office of Student Life and Leadership. The I Will Graduate Committee teamed up for another successful Student Success Fair, where students were encouraged to walk around campus and gain valuable information on volunteer, internship, and job opportunities, while also learning about all the resources available on campus. Student Life hosted our annual holiday reception, where EMCC students and their families were invited to participate in cookie decorating, crafts, a hot cocoa bar, holiday games, and of course, pictures with Santa. Holiday reception also featured the Christmas Angel Drive, where the community helped buy Christmas presents for over 50 children in need. As well, Student Life hosted the annual Cesar Chavez Luncheon for students, employees, in the community to enjoy a catered lunch while learning about the Latino American civil rights activists. Thank you for your time, and here's Rorvis Gilmore to tell you about our upcoming campus events.
Good evening, my name is Warvis Gilmore. Lauren told you about our past events, so I have the honor of telling you about what events we have coming up. Now, tomorrow is February 26th for Black History Month. We have our annual Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon. To honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, our guest speakers are Pastor Dr. Warren Stewart, Senior of First Institutional Baptist Church, Bishop Anthony Holt, representing the West Valley NAACP, and Pastor Dr. Jonathan Logan of Antioch Church of God in Christ. As well as we have Pizza with the President, where students will enjoy a pizza lunch while getting to know our President, Dr. Ray Rivera. Other events coming up include the Jimmy Buffett Scholarship Tribute Concert, February 26th, graduation May 8th, Coffee Talk, April 14th, as well as the St. Mary's Food Bank Pantry, March 18th, and our finals Week of Champion, May 4-7. Each year, instead of students partying for spring break, EMCC sends a group of students into the community to do something positive. This year, a group of 30-plus EMCC students are spending the first 2 days of their spring break teaching and helping kids. The group of EMCC's Teacher Education Institute students are creating educational games and activities that will share with the Homeward Bound resident children ages 5 to 12. Homeward Bound provides transitional housing and services for homeless families. Went too far. Fitness and Wellness EMCC supports EMCC's super goals of 30% graduation rate and being a great place to work. Student success through educating and motivating students to care for themselves through wellness in the classroom, autogenetic training, sports and activities clubs, sleep wellness, and financial wellness, as well as helping employees through employee effectiveness by supporting self-care makes EMCC a great place to work with workstation wellness, dynamic relaxation, annual health risk screenings, Natural Slim, and Maricopa District's benefit supports. Now, EMCC's 2019-2020 cross-country team had a great season. 3 students qualified as NJCAA All-Americans. All academic All-Americans were Alan Winter, Brian Brown, and Jovita Temple. Cecilia Sermano qualified and participated in the NJCAA Women's National Cross Country Championship in New Mexico. Golf season just started. Both the men's and women's teams have full rosters. The women's golf team is led by 2019's WJCAA Women's Golf Championship participant, Aaliyah Andrade. We are very proud of our athletics. That concludes our report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Maya.
Hi. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Warris. Warris is actually the mascot for Estrella Mountain. He was there last week at the Community College Legislation Day. And also, I have a question. Do you guys have a student council or a student government?
As of right now, I don't believe there is an active one. We have me serving as the student senator, and I've been doing stuff involving the campus. But right now, we don't have like an active student body president or a council going right now.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question. I'm not sure to whom to direct that. Not for you, but there was, for us as board members, the Student Senate packet. Ms. Maya?
The student senate's also here, and they're going to present. Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
She's just part of, she represents Estrella.
I see. I apologize. Excuse me.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Again, accept my apologies. I did read this beforehand, by the way. So now we move to the Faculty Executive Council. There being no report this evening due to Mr. Hefner not feeling well and present. With that, then, the Adjunct Faculty Association report, Mr. Roddy. It's
not here. Good evening. President Sullivan, members of the board, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Patrick Roddy. I'm an adjunct faculty member at Scottsdale Community College in the School of Film and Theater, where I teach motion picture production. I also currently serve as the president of the Adjunct Faculty Association, and I appreciate the opportunity to provide you with a brief update this evening. Nominations for our annual Outstanding Adjunct Awards close at the end of this week, and we're excited about the number of submissions or nominations we've received thus far. Next week, the work of forming committees on each campus and determining the winners will begin. The Adjunct Faculty Association and MCLI will hope that you'll be able to join us for an evening of celebration as we recognize some of Maricopa's college's very best on Monday, April 27th at Rio Salado College. Last month, in my report, I mentioned that the AFA was having our very first adjunct faculty election for treasurer and president-elect. I'm happy to announce that Deb Abley from Chandler Gilbert was elected to serve as AFA's next treasurer. Ms. Abley has been part of the AFA board since 2018, representing Chandler Gilbert Community College, where she has taught for the last 14 years. I'm also very pleased to announce that Dr. Terry Train from Gateway Community College was elected to serve as president-elect and will transition to AFA president July 1st. Dr. Train has taught at Gateway for 10 years, and she's also currently serving on FACT, and she brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience in both human resources and education. We've accomplished, I believe, a great deal with the AFA over the last year, and I'm very excited about the future of the AFA and the advocating for adjunct faculty with this new leadership. Much of my time this year, as I've worked on FACT, has been spent explaining the idea and importance of shared governance to fellow adjunct faculty. In doing this, an adjunct I spoke with told me, and I quote, "Patrick, really, what you're talking about is responsible collaboration." They went on to explain that responsible collaboration is bringing together the decision makers, experts, and the folks on the ground with the day-to-day knowledge to find solutions. But most importantly, they all must be focused on the purpose of the organization. In other words, responsible collaboration involves meaningful contributors absent of personal agenda. As we have seen from our surveys, a large majority of our adjunct faculty have come directly from industry or other education institutions, and that this work that they do here is truly a side gig for them. They have expertise and knowledge and work with our students on a daily basis. And from our surveys, we found a large majority of our adjunct faculty do this work because they want to give back. They want to help our students. They believe in our purpose and actively engage in furthering our students' quest in achieving their education and career goals. Much of my time this year, as I've worked on FACT, has been spent advocating for adjunct faculty, many of which are leaders and untapped resources. In short, the adjunct faculty of Maricopa have much to offer in addition to the work they do in the classroom. And we are eager to collaborate. I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Roddy? Being none, thank you for your leadership this year, Mr. Roddy. So now we're moving to Maricopa Student Senate report. And with that, welcome to the podium.
That was it.
Technical difficulties.
Good afternoon. President Sullivan, members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Wesley Smith, and I am the first Deputy Chair for the Student Senate of Maricopa County. And I come from Scottsdale Community College. The Student Senate is made up of 10 students, each from their own individual college. And what the Student Senate does is we act as advocates for each of our campuses, both to further our own goals as students as well as improving our campuses overall. So with that said, I would like to first start off by saying thank you to the governing board for allowing the Student Senate to form. I know it was your decision and I appreciate it greatly. So due to a variety of reasons, some of the senators couldn't attend, but for those who could, I would like to recognize Lauren Autry and Yulissa Munoz. Thank you. So we also held an election amongst ourselves to decide the officers for the Student Senate. Yulissa Munoz was selected as the chair, I was elected as the deputy chair, and then Jacob Wilson became our secretary. So as student senators, we are invited to a lot of events, and probably most notably was the Student Success Conference of 2019. And the reason why I say most notably is because it was the first kind of event that I had ever been to like that. I have never been, it was impactful. And I would like to recognize one of the speakers, Dr. Lowry Hart, who spoke from Amarillo, Texas. He spoke with such conviction and passion, and as a future educator myself, it really got to me. I understood where he was coming from, and it inspired me to better not only myself, but the world around me. And the conference went over so well that there are plans for the 2020 student conference that we, as the student senators, will have our own workshop to not only say what we do, but hopefully to inspire the next group of student advocates. So to present further events that we have, as well as kind of give more in-depth discussion on what we do for the campuses, I would like to present our president, Yulissa Munoz.
Good evening, President Sullivan, governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Yulissa Munoz, and I am from Mesa Community College. I am this year's Maricopa Community College first chair. First, I would like to begin by talking about a variety of events that we have attended lately. We have been receiving multiple invitations to these events, and it is something that we are so grateful for because it continues to shape us as leaders, as students, and as future leaders as well. One of the events we first attended was the Etiquette Dinner, which was a great experience because it truly taught us manners and forms when attending an important dinner or an important event. Secondly, I personally was able to attend the talk with Dr. Yusuf Salam, which was a fantastic event. I think just hearing his testimony, it truly inspired many students that were there. It was a fantastic event that not only was it just PC that was there, but there were students from all over the district. There were even non-students who were there. It was a sold-out event. Lastly, and one of the most recent events which we were at was the Community College Legislative Day. This was a day where 25 students and 6 mascots went to the state capitol to show their appreciation for the community colleges being included back into the state's budget. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about how we are working together to address issues district-wide. From the beginning, this was our role. This is our role, to advocate for students, to make sure that their voices are heard. So we're continuing to do that. Every month we meet here at the district. All 10 colleges are represented, and we speak about the issues or concerns that students have approached us with. If it is something that is light and we believe that we can just give advice on how to resolve these issues, then we go ahead and do that in that manner. If it is something that's a little higher, then we ask the administration team and Andrea Bakes to kind of guide us in the right situation and how to approach these issues. And lastly, we will be selecting the next student governing board member. So we have had a process written up. So the student senators have been trusted with the task of selecting next year's student governing board member. Any student senator running for the position will not be allowed to participate in the selection process. The selection process will be overseen by Andrea Bates and the administration team. The process will be as follows. Applications will be accepted from students across the entire district from March to April. Senators will review and score the applications in a separate meeting, and each senator will be provided a copy of each application and will score individually, followed by a group discussion. Then the senators will come to a consensus and select a student governing board member. The governing board member and the new senators will be announced at the April governing board meeting. I just wanted to, before officially concluding the presentation, I would like to take a moment to thank you and all of those involved with putting together the Maricopa Community College Student Senate. I have very high hopes for the senators to come. I know that having a united front with all 10 schools and addressing student concerns will continue to be the goal of future senators. Advocating for students and ensuring their voices are heard is what we senators are working to do together. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Before you go away, are there any comments or questions? Board members? Mr. Saar, you were instrumental in helping this move along.
Well, I'm just excited that you finally got here, but it's well worth the wait because I appreciate what you do as the chair of the first Student Senate. So congratulations to you as well as my partner here for taking on that role of being the first. So I look forward to doing this more often and all that you're doing not only as the Senate but also as a student as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Maya.
I just want to say thank you to Wesley and Julissa. They got here an hour ago and they were kind of nervous to speak in front of you guys. So thank you. You guys did an amazing job. Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you for being here with us, and you did a great job. As you can see, when you sit up here, you still can stumble, and you did a great job, and we really appreciate your leadership to the first Student Center. And Senate, the one thing I would like to say is, as I've had the experience of working with Ms. Maya, as all of us have, we have found the representative to be as inspiring as well as teaching, and expect that you as senators provide that to the broader community around you. So thank you again for your leadership. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So thank you again. And with that, okay, let's give them a round of applause. There are no emeritus awards or recognitions for this evening, so Dr. Gonzalez, I'm moving to you for the Chancellor's report.
President Sullivan, may I approach the podium?
You may.
Thank you. Well, this brings back memories standing here. Good evening, President Sullivan, members of the board, CEC, faculty, staff, and guests. I'm both honored and grateful to serve as the interim chancellor of the Maricopa Community College District. Taking the advice that I often give others who are filling interim roles, I immediately decided to treat this position as a permanent one. I'm not sure if I could serve it in any other capacity. As your interim leader, you should know that I aspire to be a transformational and authentic leader. I operate on the beliefs that anyone can lead from any place in the organization, regardless of their role, and that all of us have a role in recruitment and retention of our students. And finally, we should strive to meet students where they are. I stand before you this evening to briefly share my observations of our district from my first month. Yes, it's been a month already on the job. And I didn't have a single strand of white hair when I started this position. From my first month on the job and to share what you can expect to see during this interim period. Here are some observations that I've made. The employees of Maricopa are here to make a difference in the lives of others. I've seen this passion from employees in a variety of roles ranging from faculty members, groundskeepers, vice presidents, admin assistants, and the list goes on. Maricopa employees care about our students. Maricopa employees want to take a greater role in how we fulfill our mission and vision. Maricopa employees want to hear from and see their leaders more often, inviting us as leaders to learn more about them as people and to support their professional aspirations. Maricopa employees desire clear articulation of the role between district and colleges. As one employee stated, "Can we better define our swim lanes?" The morale of employees across the district cannot be ignored. There is much work and opportunity to be done in this regard. The Maricopa District serves a multitude of external stakeholders, and they will not be ignored during this interim period. However, I plan to spend significant amounts of time and energy on our greatest resources, the employees. By the way, the students are our primary purpose, will not be ignored, but to be blunt, we will not serve students as best as we can unless we focus on improving the employee morale and the culture of Maricopa. How do we begin to improve culture? First, we listen. We then begin to define and understand the roles between the district office and the college campuses. We employ task force to improve processes quickly. We continue necessary ongoing transformative change. Doing listening by engaging in a listening tour, by visiting all colleges, district office, and our student senate. I'm visiting each college, having completed 5 as of today. I'm asking each college the same set of questions which provide an opportunity for employees to be heard and to share their thoughts on the challenges and opportunities that exist for our district. I also plan to meet with the district student senate. So far, these sessions have been extremely informative and even thought-provoking. Themes are beginning to emerge that will inform the work that we focus on over the next several months. Emerging themes include adopting a stronger vision around workforce and economic development, addressing employee classification and compensation, marketing the Maricopa story, and need to update policies and procedures to foster an environment conducive to innovation. Many challenges stem from a lack of clarity around the roles of colleges and district in our work. In fact, it is my belief that we will continue to struggle to operate and respond as a system unless we can establish this fundamental philosophy. A clear delineation of such roles and responsibilities serves well to optimize shared governance and to speed up decision-making. Task forces, rapid response teams will be created when necessary, to address organizational bottlenecks and pain points. For example, district and college budgeting processes lack alignment in timing and do little to inform one another. A budget task force convened this past Friday to begin its work on improving this process and will be ready to implement by June 2020. A tuition and fees task force will convene within the next 2 weeks to develop consistent processes and to identify alternative funding models to inform the fiscal year 21 budget process. An operations task force convened twice over the past few weeks to provide recommendations on the organizational structure for areas including IT, business and finance, and human resources. Meanwhile, the search to find an interim COO is near complete. Ongoing work must continue, the good work that Maricopa employees have engaged in over the past several years. FACT and faculty agreement completion and implementation is a high priority for our organization. The Employee Group Organizing Council, currently represented by Shannon Mong and Anna Chandler, currently serving as interim district-wide reps on CEC and task forces mentioned earlier, as the EGOC begins official implementation. You may expect a board presentation on their progress at next month's board meeting. And the one question that I get over and over again is, are we going to continue our work on transformation? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. And for some that I know even better, it's a hell yes. It's a moral imperative on our part that we continue this good work. This work transcends any one leader and any one college or organization. We must complete and continue our work on a district-wide strategic plan. We must come up with a compensation philosophy model. CEC will work over the next several months to identify 3 to 5 systemic challenges to address. Developing these barrier busters will improve Maricopa's efficiency and effectiveness. External stakeholders, as far as they are concerned, meeting with key stakeholders and supporters of Maricopa to say that we are still here, and we are willing and engaged partners. In other words, we are open for business. And last, relationship building. I am sensitive and respectful when I say that it is difficult to ignore the internal struggles of our organization, regardless of where one stands and what transpired over our recent past. There are deep systemic challenges that must be addressed. The good news, however, is that for every challenge, there exists at least one opportunity. Overcoming these issues while trying to be innovative, be the innovative organization Maricopa should be, will be tough and require time. Meanwhile, the world and our competitors are moving quickly. Maricopa needs a shot in the arm. Through the listening tours and many conversations across the district, many have shared a deep desire to move forward together. This effort must begin at the highest levels of this organization, with me and with you as governing board members. With us. It is our actions that will speak louder than any words that I share from this podium here tonight. My experience so far is that we are putting our best foot forward. President Sullivan, members of the board, on behalf of the Maricopa employees, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening.
Quite sure you should walk away unless we can ask you questions when you're seated. Boy, that was really fast that you moved away from this. Being that, certainly appreciate your comments. Board members, any comments so we can let him go back to his seat? Mrs. Nguyen?
I just want to say thank you. We've got a lot ahead of us, and it's, I think, critical to this organization that we have stabilization, that we keep our eye on the ball, that we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, and I am confident that you're doing the right things, and I just want to thank you for continuing to do what needs to be done. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nguyen.
Dan, in case he didn't speak it into his microphone, I think he said ditto.
Ditto. Ditto, Mr. Saar.
Comments from anyone else? Dr. Thor?
Bravo. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I would like to say, representing the board in meetings with you, I've really appreciated your candor and the opportunity to have discussions about how we do keep moving forward as a district. I also, at this point, want to acknowledge that the board is working to be collegial and working with you in shared governance, and we appreciate and thank you for your leadership during this time, and certainly appreciate the update today.
Thank you, and thanking the great employees that are here today and at our colleges. It's all on them. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. Now is the citizens interim. I have no cards in front of me, so I'm moving forward now to consideration of the consent agenda. I would like to note that all items that are asterisked on the agenda are consent items. I am also going to pull item 12. Let's see. Wait, is that 12.2? 12.2, proposed tuition and fees fiscal year 2021, pending further discussion in a work session, at which point we will come back to that at another time in working in concert with Dr. Gonzalez. So being given that, any other items for comment or removal on the consent agenda?
I may have one.
Dr. Narini?
With a surprise, I'm going to ask for 12.1 to be pulled.
Okay, request to pull 12.1 as well. Any other comments? Being none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to accept the action on the consent agenda. All those in favor, please vote. Out. Thank you. Ms. Maya, as student trustee advisory vote, may I have your vote, please? Thank you. Mr. Saar?
Aye.
Mrs. McGrath?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Mrs. Nguyen?
Aye.
Dr. Narini?
Aye.
Dr. Thor?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion carries We completed the consent agenda item. Moving forward to information items.
Dr. Narini's.
Dr.
It's 12.1.
Oh, we have to vote on that?
He pulled it from the consent
Off the
agenda.
agenda, he didn't table it.
You didn't table it. You want to talk about it. Anyway, moving, I need a motion to hear 12.1 as a separate agenda item.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor vote by saying aye.
No, he needs to.
He needs to discuss.
Discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I also want to thank Mr. Yaquinto and his staff for all the work they put into answering all my questions, and the presidents for helping out to give me a better understanding of how the whole process works, and the staff that went into all the work to do it. And of course the board for putting up with all my talk about fees. I feel like I'm becoming Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah.
Well, as long as I ignore you, I guess we're both good.
But back in September, if you remember, I still haven't drank that wine though. We had a discussion about fees, and we decided to pull together a committee. And I just want to know where we are with the committee that's going to look at fees.
Dr. Gonzalez.
I'll ask Dr. Fisher to respond to this, so President Sullivan, Dr. Narini.
Thank you.
President Sullivan, members of the board, CEC and guests, Dr. Gonzalez. We actually are pulling that tuition fees task force together now. I believe Dr. Gonzalez mentioned it in his speech just a few minutes earlier. We have a PM assigned to that, so we'll be getting that group together within the next 2 weeks. We do have a deadline of November to have the work wrapped up in total, so it can help us with our budget process for the following year.
Okay, you said a PM?
Project manager.
Okay. So it's going to be wrapped up in November. So we're going to be looking at fees again in September. Is that right for the following semester, the following year?
We've made comment that we'd like to continue or start budget considerations for fiscal year 22 as early as that. Is that?
And typically we do a second round of fees. However, I think that's going to be part of the conversation of this work group.
Okay, because I just want to be careful that we don't get behind, and I don't want the fees to hold the budget hostage. But I do want to make sure that the fees, as we do look through them, and as the committee does consider them, that there's a definite consistency in the way the fees are designed and laid out, and there's definitely a transparency. I think that's some of the discussion we had earlier. That we want to make sure that the students know what they're paying for, and they're getting what they're expecting to pay for. So we want to make sure that's that. And then with just clear and concise language, because I know that I wanted to honor the work that went into the fees, because I know that a lot of staff and a lot of faculty and a lot of individuals put a lot of work into the fees, and I wanted to honor that, and I honored that by reading first 77 pages. And then came back and found those 109 pages, and so I had to fish through those to find out which were the new 32 pages that I had to read over again. And as I read that, it just felt like I was told that I shouldn't get into the weeds, but there were a lot of weeds I had to pull out with the fees, and I just want to make sure that as the committee gets pulled together, that we understand what the considerations are. So on the committee, what groups are being represented on the committee?
So, Dr. Narini, certainly faculty, but also administrators at all levels. So, chair, dean, vice president of academic affairs, student affairs, admin services, as well as some staff from the district.
Okay. Thank you. And I think as we just saw with the student senate and the student representative, I would like to add, if we can do that at this point, like get some sort of voice of the student in there, because they're the ones who see it firsthand. They're the ones who have the questions. That's how I got a lot of the questions. So those of you who answered some of my questions, that's how I got a lot of my questions. I actually gave this to some students to look over. And they came up with the questions of what these fees meant and how they were and how they kind of get deciphered and why are they being there? Why are they there? So if we can get some sort of student perspective in there, I think that would be important for the transparency.
Okay, Dr. Ernie, I would agree with you, and that's one of the reasons that we were so adamant about wanting a student senate.
Good.
They are a wonderful group for us to be able to take these things to on a regular basis.
Good. They're a wonderful resource. And then, so once we pull the committee together, we start meeting, can we expect any sort of updates along the way in board meetings and so on? So, okay. Okay, with that, that's the questions and things I have.
Other questions or comments during discussion? Yeah, Dr. Narini?
I just wanted to add one thing. So I wanted to tip my hat to South Mountain for the work that they did with their fees. So if you're looking for a model of how the fees have been analyzed and addressed, you might want to look to the work that South Mountain has been doing. So they've been doing an excellent job.
Thank you. Ms. Maya?
And just to add on to what Mr. Norino was saying, when I was looking at the fees, I was a little bit confused as to where the money was going to. As a student, I would really like a clear understanding as to what each part of the money is going towards. Because I was, when you add a class online, like Mr. Norino was saying earlier, it's kind of hard to understand where the money I'm paying for is going towards. So I would like to understand that better. Thank you.
Duly noted, Dr. Fisher? Thank you. Any other comments? There's a motion on the floor to approve item 12.1, proposed course fee changes for the fiscal year 2020-21 budget. Ms. Maya, advisory vote? Aye. Board vote? All those in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, the motion passes. Thank you very much. And I learned something every meeting, so thank you for your guidance on that, folks. With that, we're moving to information. Are there any comments or questions? Moving to the monitoring reports, are there any comments or questions? Community reports by governing board members. And I'd like to start with you, Mrs. Nguyen.
There's just a lot going on. I think that all I want to say is that we've got Heroes coming up in April, and we are in the most important, God bless you, the most important search for the future of this college, which is the Chancellor search. And I think that I'm encouraged, but please know that we want everyone's input as we go through the process, and there'll be opportunities for people to engage once we get to a certain point. And I think it's really important that as we align behind whoever we select as our new chancellor, that we are moving forward as one unit, and that this is a time that we really construct ourselves to do that. And I'm looking forward to that future that we get to move into. And just a shameless plug for Heroes. We use that money to pay for scholarships for our students, and so I really want to encourage you to come to that event, to see the work that our students are doing, our college presidents, to see really the people that really make us shine. And I'm really proud of the work that the foundation is doing to raise awareness about the good work of our college presidents, our college students, and our community partners that support our colleges. And that's it. Thank you.
Dr. Narini?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, I just want to thank all the folks who put up with, and for their patience for putting up with all my questions about the fees and things, because I know that it's a busy time and everybody's doing lots of work, but I appreciate it. I also appreciate what's been happening on all the campuses this month for Black History Month. I think it's a great way to recognize the tributes and efforts thereabouts. And then again, congratulate Gateway and South Mountain, because last Saturday was Trio Day and they're the ones with our Trio programs on campus. So again, some great federal programs that help the retention and graduation of our students.
Thank you, Dr. Thor.
Thank you, President Sullivan. As the chair of the Chancellor Search Committee, I wanted to update the board on our progress. February 12th was the target date for interested parties to submit applications. Applications include both a cover letter and a resume or CV. Those applications are now in the hands of committee members for review and initial ranking. Excuse me. The committee will meet, excuse me, the committee will meet next Wednesday, March 4th, to pick the individuals who will be interviewed by the committee, which will take place on March, excuse me, 18th and 19th. So we are absolutely right on target to meet our timeline of recommending finalists to the board in April, hopefully for appointment in late April or early May for the new chancellor to assume office July 1st. I also want to acknowledge the passing this month of two of our wonderful former colleagues. Dr. Velvy Green, who was president of Glendale Community College from 2006 to 2011, and just this past weekend, Dr. Karen Mills, who was a wonderful employee of Rio Salado College for 30 years and retired in 2009 as Vice President of Academic Affairs. And these were both very lovely women who were very caring and very compassionate. And we're totally dedicated to the success of our students, and they will both be greatly missed.
Thank you. Mr. Saar.
No report.
Mrs. McGrath.
I have no report, but I would like to ask Dr. Thor how many applications were turned in for chancellor.
I do not believe that that's information that we can provide publicly. I'd be happy to talk with you privately.
Mr. Hendricks.
I had the chance to visit with Mr. Keith Hefner a few weeks ago, and he and I clearly disagree on most things, but we found something we agree on. I took a student to him. I called him because when I met with him probably last month, I talked about this. I had asked him if he would meet with a student that was interested in sound engineering, and he said, yeah, I'd be glad to meet with him. So I took the student down to meet with him, and he told me to come on a Friday because that was his day when he spends time in the office or isn't as tied up as he is the rest of the time. So we showed up there, and I frankly, I thought he was doing it as a favor to me, which I appreciated, and I got through with the student, and he took us through a couple of the sound studios. He took us across the campus to a classroom there where they had a sound room, and the student was really excited about it. He was really getting motivated listening to Mr. Hefner talk about it. And we come back, and as we came back to the first room, there was a student working in there, and when we walked back in, he jumps up when he saw Mr. Hefner, gives him a big hug, and says, oh, I haven't seen you in so long, it's so good to see you. And it was obvious they had bonded at some past time on a past class Mr. Hefner must have helped him in. And it wasn't just an orchestrated thing that he'd helped this student out. And then we were getting ready to leave, and before we left, another instructor comes up, and he says, Keith, I've got another student interested in the program. Would you have time to talk to somebody else while you're here today? And he says, yeah, sure. He says, I'll be done here in about 10 minutes, and I'll be happy to take him around. So he was obviously not doing this just for me. He has an interest in motivating students, helping students, generating enrollment in the program. I think one thing he and I can agree on, even if we disagree on other things, is he is very dedicated to his job. He's dedicated to students, and I wish he was here tonight. I really appreciate the time he spent with me. I appreciate the time he spent with the next student, and I appreciate whatever bond he had with the student that was there visiting or doing other work.
Thank you. Ms. Maya.
I wanted to bring awareness to the importance of promoting the census in all the campuses and voting. Those are two big things that I've also been talking to the student senators to how to promote that on the campuses. And yes, it is. Is that better? And as the student governing board position is opening up next week, I would also like to attend all 10 colleges and speak there to promote my position better. Last year, that was not the case, and as one of the changes I would like to do is promote my position better and also the student senator's position. So, yeah.
Thank you. My turn. I'd like to start with my comments. At a recent board meeting, the one held on January 28th, 2020, there were some statements made about the board's past decisions regarding the hiring of lobbyists and related actions by the chancellor that were not correct. The board wishes the record to reflect that those statements were erroneous. With that, my update is I and several of my colleagues attended a training and a legislative summit in DC a few weeks ago, well, maybe it was a couple weeks ago. And during that time, I had the opportunity to go to a new trustee training. Already 1 year in, you would think that I probably couldn't find value in a new trustee training, but that was really incorrect. What I am learning is that there is always something new as a board member that we need to embrace, grapple with, to learn how to be better at our jobs in promoting shared governance and participating in policy governance, which this board has chosen to affirm and move forward on as a model for our own governance. It's helpful to be in conversation with those who are engaged in this work as trustees throughout the United States, and to also meet the leaders of districts that are innovative and dynamic, and those that also have challenges such as we do on occasion. I think the message behind my information is that I learned again that the commitment of my colleagues is great to want to do and be better at what we do in our roles as trustees. We may differ on how we approach it with style, but I can honestly reassure you that as I stumble sometimes, or as we fleetingly go to the next step, it's only because we have the interests of students in our best interest, in our sights, and that is what we are committed to doing. So I appreciate that I had that opportunity to learn with my colleagues and to bring that back here, that learning. The other piece is we had training in policy governance on, well, not training, I guess, guidance on policy governance past Friday. And that was another way that we're reaffirming our commitment to be good board members. Certainly, again, trying to embrace what we believe are good tenets of how to practice being the ones that are sitting on this dais. Last, I've had a lot of fun. I'm getting to know more about the foundation, certainly enjoying my opportunities to learn and be with Dr. Gonzalez, and want to say with deep appreciation, we appreciate all the work that all of you do every day on behalf of our students. So with that, thank you, and I am going to adjourn the meeting until we meet again on March 24th. Thank you.
Thank you.